Don't be a parrot in life. A parrot talks way too much, can't fly high, but the eagle is silent and has the willpower to touch the sky. Today, I'm going to share with you 11 brutal facts about how eagles think and operate that will completely transform how you approach life, business, and success. And I promise you, by principle number 11, you'll never see challenges the same way again. But before we dive in, let me ask you something. Are you living like an eagle or like a chicken? Let's find out. Principle number 7 is going to disturb you. It's brutal, it's harsh, but it's exactly what you need to hear if you want to reach the next level. So, let's break down these 11 principles, and I want you to really pay attention, because each one of these isn't just about eagles. It's about you, your business, your relationships, your future. Principle number 1 is going to make you uncomfortable, especially if you're someone who values being liked, but it's the foundation of everything else. Principle number 1, eagles fly alone, or with eagles only, never with crows, pigeons, or sparrows. Have you ever seen a flock of eagles? No, you haven't, because that's not how they operate. While other birds travel in massive groups, hundreds, sometimes thousands together, eagles fly solo, or in very small groups with other eagles. That's it. Now, why is this? Safety in numbers, right? That's what conventional wisdom tells us. More birds means more eyes watching for predators. More birds means better chance of finding food. More birds means you're less likely to be the one that gets picked off. But eagles don't think like that. Eagles understand something profound. The crowd is mediocre. The crowd is average. The crowd is limited by the speed of the slowest member. When you fly with eagles, you're challenged, you're pushed, you're held to a higher standard. When you fly with crows, you're comfortable, you're accepted, but you never rise higher than crow level. Let me give you a real example. In nature, when an eagle is learning to hunt, it doesn't learn from pigeons. It doesn't ask sparrows for advice. It watches other eagles. It mimics successful hunters. It learns from the best. And here's the brutal part, and I warned you this would be uncomfortable. You need to audit your circle right now. Who are you spending time with? Who are you taking advice from? Who influences your thinking? Because I can predict your future with scary accuracy just by looking at the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you're surrounded by people who complain, make excuses, and settle for mediocrity, guess what? That's your future. But if you're surrounded by people who are ambitious, disciplined, and constantly improving, well, that's a different trajectory entirely. Eagles don't waste time with birds who can't fly at their altitude, and neither should you. Now, does this mean you should be arrogant or rude? Absolutely not. Eagles aren't cruel, they're just selective. They're protective of their time, their energy, and their mental space. You can be kind to everyone, but you can't be close to everyone. You can't give everyone access to your inner circle. You can't let everyone influence your thinking. Be an eagle, fly with eagles, or fly alone. Principle number 2 is about focus, and when you see what eagles can actually see, you'll understand why most people fail. Principle number 2, eagles have superior vision and intense focus. An eagle can see a rabbit from 2 miles away. Let that sink in. 2 miles. That's like standing in downtown Manhattan and seeing a small animal in Central Park with perfect clarity. But it gets crazier. Eagles have 2 focal points in each eye. Humans only have 1. This means they can focus on 2 different things simultaneously while still maintaining depth perception. And their peripheral vision? Nearly 340 degrees. They can see almost everything around them without turning their head. But here's what's even more impressive. When an eagle locks onto prey, everything else disappears. It doesn't get distracted by other birds. It doesn't lose focus because of noise. It doesn't second-guess its target halfway through the hunt. It sees, it locks, it executes. Now, let's bring this to your life. How's your vision? Not your physical eyesight, your life vision. Can you see your goals with clarity? Can you spot opportunities from a distance? Can you maintain focus even when there are distractions everywhere? Most people have terrible vision. They can't see past next week. They have no idea where they're going. They're just wandering through life, hoping things work out. Eagles don't hope. They see, they plan, they execute. And here's the discipline part. When an eagle identifies a target, it doesn't chase every rabbit that runs by. It stays locked on the original target. It commits. How many people do you know who start a business, then see someone else succeeding in a different business, and immediately want to switch? They see someone making money with real estate, so they abandon their tech startup. Then they see someone crushing it with e-commerce, so they drop real estate. They're chasing every rabbit that moves. Eagles don't do that. When they lock onto a target, they maintain focus until the mission is complete. Then, and only then, do they select the next target. Your ability to focus on one thing, to develop eagle vision for your goals, to tune out all the noise and distractions, that will determine your success more than talent, more than resources, more than almost anything else. Develop eagle eyes. See further. Focus harder. Execute relentlessly. Principle number 3 is about standards, and it's going to expose what you've been accepting in your life that's literally poisoning your future. Principle number 3. Eagles don't eat dead things. They only hunt fresh prey. You know what eats dead things? Vultures, crows, scavengers. Eagles? Never. Even if an eagle is starving, even if there's a perfectly good dead carcass right there, easily accessible, requiring zero effort, the eagle won't touch it. The eagle will spend energy hunting fresh, living prey instead. Why? Because eagles have standards. Eagles have a different operating system. Scavengers wait for other animals to do the work. They circle. They wait. They hope something dies so they can feed off the scraps. And yes, it's easier. It requires less effort, less risk, less skill. But it's also disgusting. It's degrading. And it keeps you operating at scavenger level forever. Now, let's translate this to your life and career. What dead things are you eating right now? Are you taking the easy path? Are you feeding off other people's leftovers? Are you waiting for opportunities to fall in your lap instead of hunting them down? Are you in a dead-end job, just collecting a paycheck, living off the scraps of someone else's vision? Are you recycling old ideas instead of creating fresh value? Are you consuming stale information, outdated strategies, watching gurus teach methods that worked 5 years ago but are completely dead today? Here's the brutal truth. Most people are vultures. They wait, they copy, they recycle, they scavenge. They see someone succeed with a business model and they try to copy it exactly. But by the time they do, the opportunity is already dead. They're feeding on a carcass. Eagles don't do that. Eagles hunt fresh prey. They create new opportunities. They innovate. They lead. They're first, not followers. And yes, hunting is harder than scavenging. It requires more skill, more effort, more risk. You might fail. You might miss the prey. But that's the price of excellence. That's the price of operating at eagle level. You can be a scavenger and have an easy, comfortable life, feeding on scraps. Or you can be an eagle and hunt fresh prey, live with purpose, and create real value. The choice is yours, but choose wisely, because once you develop scavenger habits, it's hard to go back to being a hunter. Principle number 4 is my personal favorite, because it completely flips how most people think about problems and adversity. Principle number 4. Eagles love the storm. They use opposition to rise higher. This is the one I mentioned at the beginning, and it's worth diving deeper into because it's so powerful. When a storm approaches, every other bird does the logical thing. They seek shelter. They hide. They wait for it to pass. They try to avoid the pain, the danger, the discomfort. But eagles get excited because they've learned something that most creatures never figure out. The storm is an opportunity. Here's what actually happens. The eagle positions itself at the edge of the storm, and when those powerful updrafts come, the same winds that are destroying nests and grounding other birds, the eagle spreads its wings and uses those winds to soar above the storm, while other birds are on the ground, miserable, waiting it out. The eagle is at 10,000 feet, gliding effortlessly, using the storm's energy to reach heights it could never reach on a calm day. The eagle doesn't use more energy during a storm. It uses less. It's actually easier for an eagle to soar during a storm than during calm weather, because it's using the power of opposition to lift itself higher. Now think about that in your life. What storms are you facing right now? Economic recession, industry disruption, personal setbacks, competition, criticism. Most people, when they face a storm, they hide. They play defense. They wait for things to get better. They hope the storm passes quickly. But what if you're approaching it all wrong? What if the storm isn't something to survive, but something to use? Let me give you real examples. The 2008 financial crisis, a massive storm. Most people lost everything, but some people, a small group of eagles, used that exact storm to become billionaires. They bought assets everyone else was panic selling. They started companies when everyone else was too afraid. COVID-19 pandemic, another storm. Most businesses shut down, hoping to survive, but some businesses completely transformed. They adapted, they innovated, they used the disruption to reach heights they never could have reached in stable times. Every major breakthrough in your life will come during or right after a storm. Not despite the storm, because of the storm. When everyone else is panicking, you should be positioning. When everyone else is retreating, you should be advancing. When everyone else sees danger, you should see opportunity. But here's the key, and this is what separates eagles from other birds. You have to learn how to use the storm. The eagle doesn't just fly randomly into the chaos. It positions itself strategically. It understands wind patterns. It uses intelligence and experience. You need to do the same. When a storm hits your industry, don't just react emotionally. Study it. Understand it. Find the updrafts. Position yourself to use the chaos to rise higher. The storm is coming whether you like it or not. The question is, will you be hiding on the ground with the crows or soaring above the clouds with the eagles? Principle number 5 is about trust, and it's going to change how you evaluate people and opportunities forever. Principle number 5. Eagles test before they trust. When a female eagle is looking for a mate, she doesn't just pick the first male eagle that shows interest. She doesn't choose based on appearance. She doesn't make emotional decisions. She tests. Here's what actually happens in nature, and this is fascinating. The female eagle picks up a stick and flies high into the air. The male eagle has to catch it. She drops it again. He catches it again. She does this over and over, flying higher each time, making it more difficult. She's not being difficult for fun. She's testing his commitment, his skill, his persistence, his ability to handle difficulty, because she knows something important. Life is going to throw challenges at them. They're going to face storms. They're going to face predators. They're going to raise babies. And she needs to know, really know, that this male eagle isn't going to quit when things get hard. So she tests, before she trusts, before she commits, before she builds a nest and raises a family with him. Now, let's bring this to your life. How many times have you trusted too quickly? How many times have you gone into business with someone because they talked a good game? How many times have you hired someone based on their resume and their interview, only to find out they can't actually perform? How many times have you jumped into a relationship because of chemistry and attraction, without testing character, discipline, and values? Most people don't test. They trust based on feelings, based on words, based on surface-level impressions. Eagles don't do that. Eagles test in real conditions. If someone says they're committed to your business, give them a difficult task. See if they follow through. If someone says they're reliable, See how they handle responsibility under pressure. If someone says they want to be in your life, see if they're there during the storms, not just the sunny days. Actions reveal truth. Words hide it. And here's the other side of this principle. Be someone who passes the test. Be the kind of person who performs when things get difficult. Be the kind of business partner, employee, friend, or spouse who doesn't just talk about commitment, but demonstrates it through consistent action. Eagles mate for life. You know why? Because they test thoroughly before committing. They don't make emotional decisions and then try to make it work. They make strategic decisions based on proven performance. Test before you trust, and be worthy of passing others' tests. Principle number 6 is about legacy, and it reveals why some people build empires while others can't even build a successful career.